Okay. Well, before we start, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are already on our team, but just in case you're not, I'll just introduce myself really quickly. So my name is Caitlin. I have been in the business for just over 3 years, and this business has literally changed our entire life. Like, our whole story is different now. So I joined 3 years ago when we unexpectedly got pregnant, and I was working but not making very much. Like, it was definitely more of like a rewarding job from the heart, right? You don't make a ton of money, and James was still going to school. And then when we unexpectedly got pregnant, because he had no income coming in and mine was small, like that did not work, and we ended up super broke. I was on government assistance. His parents were paying our rent. Like, we were literally broke as could be, and it was terrible. And I saw my upline post that she had made this like huge bonus and was making a full-time income all from her phone while she was at home with her kid, which was literally what I was struggling with, right? Like, I couldn't afford my daughter, which if you're a mom, you know that that's like one of the shittiest feelings in the world, is like not being able to provide for them. So I literally jumped in on the spot. I had zero excuses. I was just like, if somebody else is doing this, I'm going to do this. And from day one, I've just copied the people that I saw that were killing it, which thankfully I had signed with somebody. I'm sure you all know Jackie Deering, like freaking love her. And so I basically just copied her from day one, but like made it my own. And that's like honestly the best thing you could do for your business. And month 4, we earned a $5,000 bonus. Month 5, we earned another $5,000 bonus. And month 8 is when it turned into like a huge full-time income scenario. And we were able to buy a beautiful house. I quit my job. I have literally never gone back to work since before we got pregnant now. So it really just changed everything for us. It's a whole different life. We were able to go to Australia for a few months and take our 2-year-old to go play with kangaroos. Like, it's so crazy. So yeah, that's my story. That's where I'm at. And I wanted to do this training for you guys tonight on building up leadership and duplication within your team, because it's something that I get asked so frequently. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to write down like everything I can think of, and we're just going to plan a Zoom for this. And I'm going to try not to take too much of your guys' time, especially because since it's just me talking, and sometimes I talk really fast if I get like a little bit nervous. So it might go by too fast. If I'm talking too fast, just let me know and I'll like bring it down a little bit. But I was also asked to be super just like real with you guys. And like, if you know me, you know that I am very much a yellow. I'm like very like soft spoken. I'm like, normally the shy one, but for this topic, it's true. You do have to be like as red as you can be and very just like honest and out there, because when it does come to leadership, there really isn't, you can't sugarcoat it, right? Like, it's what you have to do and you have to be real about it. Like, you have to do what you have to do. And so we're just going to be really real about that tonight. And this is probably the most red Zoom you'll get out of me, because this is the topic to do it on, right? So yeah, let's just start with saying that leadership is literally any rank, you guys. That doesn't mean, leadership does not mean diamond. It doesn't mean double diamond or triple diamond. Like, you do not want to wait until you get VIP to become a leader, right? Like, leadership is where you're at now, and that's literally all it means. Like, there is no rank attached to it, okay? Like, even if you just joined today, absolutely, like, if you're wanting to build a team, whether you even have one person on your team, you're a leader, right? And even to get that one person, you want to be building your leadership. Like, it's right from day one. That's like the biggest thing you can do for yourself, right? And if I look down a lot, just know it's because I literally made like, I have so many jot notes, so I can like try to like reel myself in so I know what I'm talking about. So if I'm just like awkwardly looking down all the time, that's why. Yeah, okay, so put a 1 in the chat if you're like, I wish I had some really hardworking people on my team. Like, you wish you had a team that would just like carry its own. Like, you want people that are mass enrolling. You want them enrolling customers and distributors. And like, you want a team that's like seen and they're killing it, right? Like, that's like the vision. That's the dream, right? That's what we all want. I guarantee it. Like, if you were to ask somebody, they're not gonna say no, right? Like, we obviously all want like the hardest workers on our team, right? So in order to have that team, it comes from you. You are the top of your team, okay? Whether you are a distributor, a Ruby, or I missed executive. I always honestly just go right to Ruby. Like Ruby is just like the first goal always. So that's why I mentioned Ruby first a lot. But Emerald, Diamond, Double Diamond, it does not matter. Where you are now is where you need to start working on, okay? So you cannot leave it until later. You cannot come into this and be like, I am going to work on leadership when I have that team. Like when I have a team that's like kicking butt and I'm like Double Diamond, then that's when I need to be a leader, right? Like so wrong. Like that is as wrong as you can be, because if you want to ever get to that point, you have to start being a leader beforehand, because oftentimes like you're not going to sign those people unless you're already in that personality, right? Like you can sign people. Absolutely. I'm not saying you'll never sign distributors if you're not an amazing leader, but what ends up happening is those people, and everybody can learn leadership just like you and I are right now, right? I'm not saying you can't learn leadership, but the people who are like so motivated that know that this is what they want, that they're like, yeah, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Like they're so focused. They know exactly what they're coming into. Those people will often gravitate towards the ones who are extremely confident and who can tell you like exactly what you're going to do and how they're going to help you. Like the people who are just so confident and like, this is what this business is, right? And this is what I can offer you. So it's not that they can't learn leadership, but the people who are like, that already have that bit of personality, right? Or that bit of leadership, just like in who they are going to gravitate towards the one who can show them that back, right? So that's why it is so important. If you want to get to this big, amazing, hardworking team, you need to work on yourself right from day one. Like you want to be so confident in what you have and just so excited, because honestly, that's what it comes, like the excitement is what it comes from. Like it sounds bad to say like fake the confidence, but it's honestly what it is until you get to that point. Like if you can even just send like a 5-second voice message and just like fake that you're the most confident person in the world, and then finish it and put your phone down and then just be like, oh, that was hard. Like, that's what you got to do, then just do it. And eventually it will become such a habit and you'll find yourself being like, okay, that one was easier. Okay, look at me go. I'm like killing it. And you just have to get into that habit of being that confident person, right? And a lot of that will come from personal development and books and stuff, and we'll get more into that. But my point of this first like whole ramble was that like you have to start now, right? If you want to sign those people that are going to be like absolutely killing it, like it does start with you, and you want to be showing up as that person that you want to enroll. And if honestly, such a good tip for you guys is get a piece of paper and write down everything that you want in a new distributor, okay? Like, do you want your enrollments to be, do you want these distributors to be hardworking? Do you want them to be consistent? Do you want them to love caring about other people and just being like, enjoying talking to people and loving what they do? Like, do you want them to be a leader, right? Write that out, like in details. Who do you want to sign? And tell yourself that every single day. And then you start showing up as those things, right? Like if you're wanting your team to be consistent, are you being consistent? Show up as those things every day and tell yourself, I'm going to sign somebody exactly like me. I'm going to sign like the best person ever. And you will find yourself doing that because they will start gravitating towards you as you show exactly what you're wanting in them, right? So I honestly recommend doing that. If it's not something you guys have done, literally write it out on a piece of paper or notes on your phone, whatever you got to do, and just tell yourself exactly what you want, okay? Nah. Sorry, I'm just gonna like take a minute to like breathe and check sometimes, just because I get like, I find that I like even be talking about things that are like 10 times down what I was going about saying. Okay, so honestly, I'm just gonna take a second to shout out people on my team that are killing it, because one of the like reasons I have people message me is because you guys, like, we have people on our team like freaking killing it, okay? Like if you guys have seen, like we have Samantha Westwick enrolling like 60 to 70 customers a month, and like Kelsey Boyes is signing 15 to 20 distributors a month, and like freaking Lexi Dressler signed like 600 in volume in like a week this past. Like we have so many people. We have like Caitlin Ham and Anna Chenoweth is like building a Spanish page. Like we have so many people. Like and don't be offended if I didn't say your name. That's just off the top of my head. But like we have so many people like killing it so much that I have people reaching out to me being like, what are you doing? Like these people are killing it. And one really big thing I want to tell you guys is that like, you can't take credit for your team's success. Like, I'm not doing anything. Like, they are the ones doing it, right? And so one thing you have to know when you're building a team is you're not responsible for the people that are killing it. They are killing it, right? But on that same aspect, you're not responsible for the people that aren't killing it either, right? You're not responsible for their failures. You're not responsible for their success or their failures. Once they know what they're doing, it's like passing the torch on, right? Like, you can't take credit for any of that. You can be there to help them, but you don't get credit for any of their actions, okay? Because it's exactly that, it's their actions. But what you can focus on is the environment that your team works in, right? You can focus on like the relationships within the team, the like excitement, like you can't really choose like the momentum, but you can build behind it, right? Like, you can be there to like help the movement go by how you treat your team and how you create that. You just can't take responsibility for it, okay? So how do you get that good environment on your team? How do you start creating that duplication so that you can pass on that torch and they can be like those hard workers that is like inside of them, right? Because every single person has this fire in them that like could be brought out, and they're going to be hard workers. They're going to kill it. They're going to be mass enrollers. Every single person has that ability, every person. But only the people who like really feel it will bring it out, right? You'll hear so many excuses always. And that's when it comes down to remembering you're not responsible for the people who don't work. They made that choice. But if you have somebody that comes in that chooses to absolutely kill it and they're ready to run with you, you also want to be prepared to be able to help them and have the right space for them to do that, right? So how do you do that, okay? Step one is it starts before they even enroll. Like, it comes down to them watching you before they even sign up with you. So your posts, do you look like a leader in your posts? Are you consistent? Are you doing the things that you would want them to do? So like, are you sharing your story all the time? Are you confident in your posts? Like, are you know, like there is a difference in like a really like shy post where you're just like, okay, like this is what I did. And you don't end it with like a call to action. Like, it's just there, right? Or there's the people who are like, yes, I'm so freaking excited about this. Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I will never stop talking about it. Like, you want your posts to reflect that you are just like on cloud nine with what you're doing. Like, you're so confident, you have your team is killing it. Even if you just joined and you don't have anybody specifically on your team yet, talk about wins within like the bigger team, like your sidelines or friends in the business. Share anything. Like, who is killing it and why does that make you excited? Where are you going with this? Okay. And follow-ups. Do your follow-ups sound confident? Are you even following up with them? Are you consistent with it? Because I promise you, if you were like constantly like following up with them, being so excited, like, hey, I'm helping people kill it over here. We have people earning these huge bonuses. We're making life-changing money. Like, are you ready? Because I want to help you. They see that, right? Even if they're not ready to sign up, you're coming across to them as a leader because they know you're still working your business. They know you're being consistent, that you're confident in what you have. So if you're not following up with them, or you're like sounding super shy in your messages, you're like your vibe comes off, right? So if you're not confident in what you have, that's not coming off to them as some like high up leader, right? And by high up, it again, don't mean rank. It just means, are you confident in what you're doing? Like, they don't know rank. Somebody who hasn't joined has no idea what ranks are. You could be a distributor or an executive, but you're just so excited and confident about what you got that you truly are being a leader, and you will attract those other leaders, right? Yeah, do you send voice messages? That is such a big one, you guys. I promise you, it might sound like it doesn't matter if you type it up or you do a voice message, but I promise you, if you use voice messages to explain the questions that you can, to like make them, if they're like nervous about something, like if they're hesitant about if they're gonna have help or they're not gonna know what to do, there is such a big difference if you just type something up about like, oh no, I'll help you, like this is what our team does, blah, 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 like, right? You can send that, or send a voice message that's like, oh no, don't worry. Like, our team, we're literally a top team in the whole company. We have training videos, training pages, group chats. Like, I'll be here to walk you through absolutely everything. I'll give you posts you can use, right? Which one are they going to sign up with? the person who just voice messaged you back and was so confident in their answer and told you exactly how they're going to help you, right? So if you can use that voice message every single time you can, do it, you guys. It changes your business. Yeah, exactly. Be a person, not just a text message, because then they hear your voice and you're also creating that relationship. And voice messages come off confident as hell, you guys. Like, I literally remember the first time Jackie sent me a voice message, I was actually like taken aback. I was like, whoa, like she is like serious about this. Like, I actually just like took a second to be like, I don't want a voice message back. I'm gonna type my replies, because like I wasn't in that space yet, right? I wasn't ready for that like whole like confident version of me. Like, I was not that leader, right? But as you keep going, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, no, I'm ready. And then you push yourself. And now almost every single thing besides like my initial message or like a very short, simple follow-up is voice message. Every single question that they ask me is a voice message. And I go in detail explaining things. And by detail, I don't mean like 5 to 10 voice messages. Like, don't overwhelm the crap out of them, but like send in one, use like the minute that you have in the voice message and just explain it the best you can. Be so excited, because somebody who hasn't joined, remember, they don't know the little tiny facts about what you're doing. They don't know what the ranks are or like all those tiny little details, right? All they know is you're excited and you're confident, and they're gonna vibe with that and they will feel that. So if you send that, you're gonna be building that relationship and that trust, because it's gonna put your voice to your face now too. And they literally feel like they know you and they're gonna feel like they're friends with you. And that is such a big thing when you bring on these new distributors, because they already feel like you're friends. Like, they've heard your voice, they know what you look like, they know you, not just like typing to you, right? It makes the biggest difference. So do you voice message pricing? That one, okay, so I don't, the initial one, like I send a typed up, like I have a write-up that explains the price, but the reason for that is because it also mentions like the 3 months and like the $50 fee, things like that, right? Like, you need to have that in writing. But if they say anything to me in a sense of like, oh, I just don't want to commit, or, oh, I don't know if I can afford that, like literally anything that implies any further conversation, voice message. Like, if they say to me like, oh, I just don't know if I can commit. Like, for example, that was when the reason that's on my mind is because somebody said that literally right before the Zoom. I send a voice message and I'm just like, oh no, don't worry about that one bit. Like, let's say you order today, you're gonna get your own login ID to the website. I'm gonna help you with that. We can change your order, we can change your shipping date, we can skip a month if needed. It is so flexible and you're in 100% control of it. So there's literally no obligations to anything besides just doing the 3 orders, and after that you can cancel. Like, I just reassure them of everything, and I'm just so confident and excited about what we have that it changes their mind instantly, because then they got the facts, but then they also got my voice like explaining it after, so they get both, right? But do make sure you type that part, just because there is like, you always have to mention like the $50 cancellation and stuff like that. So it might be difficult to prove that you did it if you don't have it typed up. So yes, there's that. Okay, wait, I'm just gonna take water for like 0.2 seconds. Hold on. Okay, so if they say they have no money because of COVID, honestly, what I do is I send a voice message and I just say to them like, I get it, I was there. I'll tell them a bit about my story. Like, even if you're not making money yet, you have a story, right? Share your story about like what made you join, how you got the money. Give them ideas on how they can make that money, right? Like, do you have a savings account you can use? Do you have a credit card? Is there anybody that could help you out? Or do you even have like some stuff around the house you could sell that you don't use, or clothes you don't wear? Like, just give them a bunch of ideas and just be like, I get it, I was there. But then also, again, that confidence, instill in them that this is what's going to change it for them, and end it by saying like, I know this might be difficult, this might be stressful, but if we can just find a way for you to get the money, for you to sign up, like, this is what will change that for you. And again, reassure that we have training videos and training pages. Like, I can help you make an income so that you never have this problem again. That's how I end so many of my messages, is just by saying we can make it so that you don't have this problem anymore. So yeah, just be confident in what you have. Okay, so then the next step, so because it starts before they sign up, right? But then after, once they sign up, one thing I was asked to talk about is how you train your new distributors, okay? So if you're on Jackie's team, which most of us are, a lot of us would have just saw this new page, right? And that's gonna like simplify this whole thing, and basically like this topic isn't even gonna have to be a thing anymore because it's all laid out there, right? But in a sense of like talking to your new distributors and being friends with them, like just being there for them is the biggest thing you can do, okay? So one question I was asked to talk about is how often do you follow up with them? So let's say that somebody just signs up. I'm gonna walk them through what they have to do. And honestly, I just check in with them. Usually it'll be the next day at first. Like I'll just be like, hey, did you get through those videos? Like, where are you at? How is it going? Just be really caring. And honestly, just remember that it's not on your time. Like just because somebody signed up doesn't mean that they're like 100% in, like they're on fire, they're like balls to the walls running with you. Like not everybody is going to be in that scenario, right? You're going to have people that are slow movers, or maybe they take a bit more to learn, and maybe they want to go through step one multiple times before they feel confident enough to admit that they did it, because maybe they just didn't even get it the first time. And so you just have to remember that like you have to be there for them no matter what, because they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And if you come off as impatient with them, you're frustrated with them because they're not moving fast enough or they're not doing good enough for you, that will lose them. They'll be too intimidated because you're acting like a boss at that point, right? You're not their boss. You're here to show them what to do, and they will do it when they're ready. And so that's definitely one of the hardest things of being a leader, because sometimes we do feel like, oh my gosh, like nobody's like running with me, like I'm ready, let's go, like why aren't we moving? But you have to remember that if you want that true like team that will follow you, that will work hard, that is going to be there, they will be there when they're ready because you were there for them. And if you're not that person that's there for them, they're gone, like long gone, and they won't come back to you either, which is such a big thing, because I can tell you guys like very confidently that we have had so many people leave our team, but because I'm so patient with the people who sign with me, I don't care how long it takes them to learn. I don't care if it's not their time. Like we can't make somebody work now, because if they're not mentally there, they're not there, right? So if they check out, life happens, whatever, be their friend, care for them, because when it is their time, you guys, we have had so many people come back. Like we've had rock stars come back. Like I saw Shayna on this Zoom, like shout out to Shayna. She was on my team before. She was a diamond and like freaking one of the best workers ever. And I was deep down like so sad when she stopped working her business. Like I know we're not supposed to like admit that, but like freaking I was sad that Shayna stopped working her business. And then guess who reached out to me recently and then just signed up yesterday? Like literally had a freaking party in my office. I'm just gonna be honest. I was so excited. And now day one, she's on this leadership training. Like shout out to Shayna. But that's what happens, you guys, is when you're just patient with them and you allow them to be on their own time and do like the things that they need to do so that they can mentally be ready to do this with you, they will come. The right people will come, even if it's not on their first time. Sometimes it's not even their second time. Like I'm pretty sure, I think it was Cami Pentecost that said it was her third time signing up that she finally worked the business. Like it will happen if it's meant to be, and if you are just patient, like just let it happen on their time. And that goes with enrolling distributors too. Like you have to remember that just because there's a huge sale on and you set a goal for yourself that you want to sign 10 distributors and you just want this huge team, it's not going to happen just because you put it out there, right? Like, and I'm not saying don't put it out there. Like, trust me, goals are amazing. Write it out there, like speak it into existence, manifest it, absolutely. But you can't take that out on the individuals if it's not their time yet. Like you can do both, right? You have to manifest it, but still know, like if it's not that person's time, okay, like maybe it's the next one. I'm just gonna like keep going. Like just be patient and just love the journey, because that's what matters, is that you're just gonna keep going. You're gonna keep working. You're gonna be consistent, because if you can do that, they will all be signed up in no time. Like if it takes a day, a week, months, like they will come if you continue being the person that they want to sign up with. So if you're like caring and loving with them and like you're like being a friend with them, like they want to sign, but then they tell you that they can't today and they don't have the money, and now all of a sudden you get hostile and you're frustrated with them because they didn't sign up right when you wanted them to, and you just like come off as a different person now. No, duh, they're not going to sign up with you anymore because you're not the same person you were when you thought they were signing up. You have to continue to be that same loving person, whether they're ready today or whether they're not. And that is going to make the biggest difference on not only how many you enroll, but on who you enroll, because you want the people that are going to be patient back, right? Like you want those loving, hardworking personalities, and they will not come to you if you're not giving it back, right? Yeah. Okay. Water break. 2 seconds again. I swear I like talk so much that my voice just like it goes all weird and then I sound like a frog and I don't like it. Okay. Okay. So next, they're signed up. Follow up with them frequently, but in a caring way, okay? I feel like I kind of said that, but not to the extent I wanted. But basically, I will continue to message people, like my new distributors, quite frequently, but it doesn't even always have to be business related. Like I will say, how are you doing? Like, hey, how is your family? Like, how are you doing today? How are things going? Like a lot of my follow-ups, once they're signed up, at first will be like, hey, did you manage the videos? Like, did you figure this out? Stuff like that. But if I continue to keep following up with them, whether they're answering or not, I'll take that out and I'll still keep following up with them. But as a person, like person to person, how are you doing? Like, how is life? Like, how is your family? Because me following up with them, taking out the word like business and like the specifics isn't going to make them work their business any more or less, right? Like if they were going to watch the videos today, the way I address it isn't going to change whether they watch it or not, right? So by being a friend and just showing them, hey, like I'm still here, like I'm still working, but like how are you doing? Like I still care about you. They will do it if they're meant to do it. And if not, that's fine. But I don't want to come off as bossy or hostile, right? You're not their boss. You're just there to help them along. And if they can feel that, much bigger chance that they're going to work with you and like truly love what they're doing. Okay, and then next thing, what you can do to create that environment for them. One thing I love, you guys, is my chat. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm all for team chats, okay? But where it gets confusing, and like obviously there's no right or wrong here, but if you're somebody who like you're new, like you're just building a team and you do have a bigger team chat that you can be part of, just stay with that and like have your team in that, right? Because the reason I say that is unless you have like this big team, which you want to have a chat for, absolutely. But if you're just trying to get to that bigger team level and there is a bigger chat you can be part of, I think those are so fire because your team they need to be around the fire themselves, right? Like if you have new people coming in, you want them to be a part of something that is exciting, that people are active, that there is content being shared in there. So you want to have a chat or have them or be in somebody's chat, like be in an active chat where you are contributing, first of all, no matter what the chat is, because your team needs to know that like you are working and you're consistent, right? So putting content in there every single day. But also the reason I say like big chats is because your team will respect you when they see that other people respect you. It sounds silly, but it is honestly so true. Your team will not respect you until they see that other people respect you as well. So what I mean by that is, let's say there is this big like fire chat you could be part of, but you're like, no, I'm just going to work with my team. So you have a chat with like let's say less than 10 people in it. And so it's just you talking and these new people are nervous. Like they don't have that fire yet. They're not as excited. So the chat goes inactive. It's just you setting stuff in all the time. You look like you're trying to boss them, right? Like you look like you're trying to tell them what to do. Whereas if you keep everybody in one just super excited chat and you get everybody that's working and just say like, let's do this together. Let's be active together. And now you bring in these new distributors and instead put them in this bigger chat where people are sending in content. People are like, boom, signed a customer, boom, distributor. Like people are like, oh, this post really worked for me. Or hey, this Zoom is on. And people are constantly sharing things that you can do or be doing. that is going to create so much more momentum than pulling them aside and saying, no, I'm going to keep my downline in this separate one. You do your thing. I'm going to stay over here. You're actually pulling your team away from where the momentum and the fire is happening. So the people in that like super excited chat are going to be killing it. And you actually might be taking your team away from that because you're leaving yourself to be the only person in front of them. And sometimes they'll vibe perfectly with you. Sometimes that happens, that like you're the best person for them. But there are so many times when a person on your team, you're not the person that they vibe the best with. They get along really well with somebody that might have been in that other chat, or somebody is hosting different trainings, like different power hours, whatever. There might be some personality where even though they're on your team, they freaking love looking up to this other person and like taking their advice and using their wording. And you know what? That's amazing. I love when that happens. Like, it doesn't matter if I'm the person that like they love taking after in the business. Like, I am not offended if somebody would rather on my team go look up to Jackie. Jackie's freaking amazing. Like why would that offend me, right? If they find somebody, or like I know, for example, like we all know Jackie is obsessed with Jade Hooper. Like, do you think anybody's offended that Jackie like loves using Jade Hooper's wording? No, like that's amazing. We're all we're all here to help each other, right? So don't make it so that your team has you or nobody. Do not give them that scenario where like if they don't vibe with you and they don't look like they don't like what you're doing, you're leaving them with no choice but a disconnect because you're not connecting them with anybody else, right? Don't be that person. Show them the Zooms that other people are doing, the trainings that other people are doing, or like wordings that people are sharing with you. Like, get them in the fire so that they can join in and mesh with that and find the people they connect with, because that is when they will take off and be part of this whole big circle of fire. Oh my gosh, you guys are distracting me. Yeah, Jackie was FaceTiming for like an hour with Jade Hooper today. No big deal. That's what they're talking about. No big deal. Yes, okay. So, and the next thing I had was doing Zooms and tradings. You guys, it is honestly such a big thing. I will never forget the story of how like Cheyenne Knox was so public about this. And she said she literally put on a Zoom for her team and nobody showed up. And she went off and she cried about it and she was really upset and like, of course, had her 5 minutes of like self-doubt, but then got back to work and did her personal development. And I think it was like 60 days later or something crazy like that, went presidential diamond and now had literally hundreds of people on her Zoom. Because that's what happens when you keep going. Because there's been times I've done that too. Like, there have been so many times where so many of us have tried to do a power hour or whatever type of training, and there's like barely any, if any, people on, right? It happens when you start out your business. It happens. But you can decide right then, am I going to stop because of that? Or am I going to use that as motivation, as hard as that might have been in the moment? I'm going to make it so that that doesn't happen again. And the way to do that is by showing up every single day. Tell your team, I'm doing it again. I don't care if you come or not. I'm doing this power hour again. Like, it'll be tomorrow at the same time, or we're going to do it every day at this time. And whether one person comes or 10, keep going, because you're putting yourself in front of them. They see that you're serious. They see that you're consistent, and you're giving them a space to show up and to have fun and to work their business, right? And they will see that you don't, I know this sounds bad to say that you don't need them, but that's essentially what it is. Like, I'm going anyways. Like, I love every single person on my team to death, but if they don't show up, I'm still going. If they quit my business, I'm still going to keep working. And that's what you want them to feel. It's like, I love you. I'm going to be here. Like, I'll be here for you every step of the way. But whether you do show up or not, I'm still going to be on tomorrow. I'm still going to be doing my power hour tomorrow for the people that do show up. And I'm then going to pour into these people that do show up. And guess what? It will create FOMO. Like, share in your stories and in posts of you doing power hours. Like, almost every single time I'm on Zoom, I'll just share a story of like a picture of the people on. Even if it like doesn't do much, it does though, right? Because the other people on your team who didn't show up, they see that and they're like, oh dang, like they, you know, like they saw I wasn't there. Like, yeah, we did see you weren't there. So maybe next time you should come and you can actually be part of it. And it works. It really does work. When you set up Zooms and nobody shows up, do you do a training and record it, or do you, honestly, if it's like a set training, like this one specifically, I will record it and sharing it. I'll share it specifically for the people, like I'll have people that message me being like, I legit can't because I work, but I would love to come. I will message them the Zoom afterwards because they cared enough to reach out that they couldn't make it, but wished they could, right? But I'm not gonna go like out of my way to be like, hey, so-and-so, did you watch this training? It was really good. Or like messaging people just to see if they did watch it. I'm not gonna make you show up. It was posted, it was in the messages. Like if you did not come on and you didn't reach out to me to say that you like wanted to come on, that's not my problem, right? And I feel like having that mindset of it really shows them, again, that sense of like, I saw you weren't there, but we're still going. Like these people did come. So shout out to these people. And that's another thing too, is in your chat, shout out the people that are working. Like even the tiny, tiny wins. Like, wow, shout out to this person, just signed her first customer. Or congrats to this person, she just got her first ever host a post. Share those so often in your chats. Like be so excited so that when new people come in and they sign their first customer, they're not shy to say it for themselves. Hey, I just signed my first customer, because they see you doing it for other people, right? Like they know the environment and they feel comfortable in it. And like we have people all the time, like I know this sounds so bad, but there are so many people in our chat that are so active. I don't know everybody's name. I do not know everybody like individually on like who they are. But if anybody says like, boom, LC, like sign my first customer, you bet I am always replying, being like, yes, oh my gosh, like heart faces, way to go. Like be excited, especially if they're not somebody that you're close with and you don't know who they are, right? Because that person maybe isn't as established yet. And those are the people that need you to be there more than the rest, because they are new. They are just getting a feel for the environment. So if they come in and they just say, hey, just signed my first customer, and it's crickets and nobody says anything, like it's just silent, that's going to feel pretty crappy, right? They're going to feel like nobody really cares if they're doing well. But if they go in there and they're like, hey, I just signed my first customer, and everybody is just like celebrating, being like, wow, how did you do it? Way to go, good job. They're going to turn around and be like, wow, I want to do that again. That felt good, right? So setting that environment in your chats, in your power hours, showing up for yourself, even if nobody else does, they see it and they will come if they're serious about it. Even if it takes you doing the same power hour every day for 10 days in a row before the first person comes on, it will trickle. And on that 10th Zoom, when one person comes, they'll share to somebody else, hey, I was just on a Zoom with Caitlin. And the next day, maybe their friend is going to come. And the next day, oh, look, we have 5 people that showed up today. And then it's just going to keep going. And sometimes it might not be big numbers, but the people that come are serious because they showed up. And that then in turn shows you who to pour into, because you want to meet people where they're at, right? If somebody is not showing up ever, they're not on any of the trainings, they're not participating in any of the chats, and then they reach out to you, sorry, and just saying like, hey, like I'm not enrolling, I'm not having results. You can literally say to them, okay, well, what are you doing? I actually haven't seen you on like the trainings recently. Like, how are things? And then it makes them go like, oh shit, I haven't been on any of the trainings. So it's just like, you meet them where they're at, right? So yeah, if somebody's giving you 100%, give them 100% back. If somebody's putting like maybe 5% of their energy into it, absolutely respond to them, help them back. But you don't need to put 100% of your effort into being like, okay, well, what are you doing for this and this and this, when they're not even doing that, right? Give them exactly what they are giving back. And if they want more out of you, if they want those detailed explanations, like, okay, well, what do I do for this and this? And I need your wording for this. Like, okay, I'm going to do a training on it at this time. Show up, like put up a power hour, walk them through it, like do it in a way so that it also makes them meet you at that same level, right? So you always want to meet them where they're at. Okay, go live, do trainings, power hours. And yes, lives is another one. I know live videos are so scary when it comes to like team pages. Like I know we have so many people that message me all the time. They're like, I want to, but like Am I allowed to? Am I supposed to? And the answer is yes, because your team, what happens? It goes back to that same thing of your team will respect you when other people respect you, right? So if they see you going live in this huge team page that other people are watching, they're like, oh, dang, she's big enough to go live on this page. They don't know ranks, right? They don't know anything to do with that. So your rank doesn't matter. What they see is, oh, wow, she's like high up enough or confident enough, in this page to go live in here. People know her name. Like, people are watching this video. People are commenting on her video. Oh my gosh, like my leader is like actually like up there. She's a big name. People know who she is. Doesn't matter if anybody actually knew who you were, but they were watching, and they then instilled that respect into your downline because they saw you putting yourself out there and putting yourself in front of these people, and these people recognized you. These people were on your video that they weren't, and it makes them be like, okay, maybe I'll watch this video then. Other people are watching this, right? Rather than pulling away. Like, I haven't, honestly, you guys, at one point, I'll be totally real with you guys. I at one point had a page where we did it just for like prizes and giveaways, just so we could have that. But that's like long gone. But I have never actually made a page to separate from Jackie's team page. Like, from day one, I will like I'll do lives in there. I'll do trainings for the whole team. I'll ask like Jackie what I can do to help. But I have not once tried to like take what she has, but then like go make it somewhere else for my people, right? Because that's not it. It's already there. Why would you go take good content and try to recreate it and pull your team away from that fire, rather than being like, hey, look at this amazing content that is in this page. Look, let's do it together. I'm going to go live on this page. And now they see you in front of 3,000 people rather than in front of 30 people, right? Like, it changes the entire atmosphere of your whole team. I love you too, Jackie. Oh my gosh. Speaking of value, you guys, if you're not on Jackie, Jackie, I just freaking love you. Like, let's just take a second. Like, Jackie is like a freaking savior, you guys. Like, the amount of like energy she puts into our team, and like our team page is freaking bomb as hell, especially like with this new one. If you guys were just on the Zoom right before this, like going over our new stuff, you guys, it would honestly make no sense to look at this amazing laid out page with all the content and then be like, okay, but I'm gonna like go do it elsewhere. Like, heck no. Jackie just poured her soul into that, so I'm taking advantage every second of my life into that page. Like, I'm gonna use every system of that and be like, Jackie, I appreciate your hard ass work that you probably never slept over, but like, I'm going to use it. Thank you. Right? Like, I'm going to take advantage of it. And so just don't be that person that pulls your team away from it. Like I said, have chats, like be on there. You know what? Something I do, you guys, that I highly, highly, highly recommend is late at night. Like, we have such like a night owl team, honestly. Like, we really do. And there will be so many evenings where we'll just put up a Zoom and we'll just get on Zoom and we'll just like, as a team, not an actual power hour or anything, but like we'll just show up with our phones and we'll just come on and we'll chat while we work. And like, there are times when we'll have been sitting on there for like 5 or 6 hours without even realizing it, because we're just having so much fun while we work at the same time. It's not a training. I didn't pull them away from anybody. I didn't tell them they have to show up for this. I didn't like separate from everybody else. It would just literally be a simple, like I'll go into my team chat and be like, hey, I'm sitting in my office. Does anybody want to get on Zoom and work with me for a while? And you guys, people show up because it's fun. Like, we literally just get on, we get to know each other. Yes, the 2000s music, Pop 2K channel every single time. Like, they literally know that if they come on and work with me, like, we're gonna have the 2000 jams, and like, we just get to know each other. And so I'm not separating them from anybody. We're all in the big team page. We're all in the same trainings. Like, we're still all putting ourselves out there. But then in the evening, if we want to get on and just like talk and build relationships, best thing. Like, yes, like, it's so good, you guys. Like, it's so good. That is one thing I definitely recommend. But yeah, like I said before, your team needs to see other people. They need to see that other people know who you are, and that even if they don't, you're not scared of that. You're willing to put yourself out there, and they will follow, because your new distributors trust in you, right? And if they can see that you trust in this page, you trust in these uplines, in these environments, they're going to follow, because they will feel comfortable, because you're showing them the way. You're showing them how to join these things, how to like show up, how to be a leader. And yeah. Okay, next one. Oh my gosh, how did I do that? I randomly got into, no way, did I accidentally somehow I accidentally deleted. Oh, it's in the deleted. Okay. I was like literally on my notes and somehow my finger like deleted it and I was like, oh, my notes are gone. But I found it in the deleted section. So moral of the story, don't like randomly put your finger down while you're talking. And I don't even know what I did, but my finger did something. Don't do that. Okay. Yeah, so basically for that part, don't overcomplicate things. Don't try to remake things. Don't like, just don't make it scary. Use what's there. Be like, it's literally this simple. Especially with this new page, I literally can't get over it. Sorry, I mentioned it so much, but like, I'm just like mind blown over how simple it is. Copy the right cat. So like I said before, when you come in and you see somebody who's like killing it, use what they have, absolutely, and twist it to make it yours. Same with new distributors. If they're like, well, I don't know what to post, like, just yes, we do need a gangster rap, however. Like, and we have to be allowed to sing it though. Like, we have to put on like the inappropriate songs and then just like scream it. That'd be so fun. Okay, yeah. So adding the value to what's already there. Yeah. So I had a note. Like, think of it as if everybody's in this one page. Let's say you have 3,000 people and like 200 of them are super strong, hard workers, right? So this page has 200 people all pouring like all their ideas and their energy into it and all working together. Okay, now imagine that. Now imagine you have this amazing, amazing page where there's 200 awesome people, but they're going to give it like 50% of their energy, but then they're going to take some of their secrets and go put it elsewhere. And everybody's doing that. Right? There's all taking their secrets to some other page. And this page is just kind of here like, hey, I have everything you need, but like nobody's contributing, right? Now, pour everything, just work together. Whether it's like, I don't know, it's just so crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I love working together with people and just like putting your minds together and just being like, let's just like brainstorm, let's have fun with this, and just like making it big, like make it as big as you freaking can. Okay. All right, we're like getting there. Sorry guys, this definitely went longer than I thought it was. Okay, so again, your team will do what you're doing. If you're not confident, they won't be confident. If you're not excited, they're not going to be excited. Like if you sign a new distributor and they're asking you questions and you're answering back in like one-word answers, like yes, no, don't do that. No, that's not good. Like, you're gonna like scare them off, right? No, don't do that. If they send you something and they're just like, okay, how do I do that? I am every time sending a voice message being like, oh yeah, it's just super simple. You just go like this and I'll like walk them through, because my excitement then goes through, right? Like you really do have to push yourself to show up for these people and to be excited for these people if you want that to trickle down and then how they work their own business. Like if you want your team to be posting, are you posting? If you want them to be messaging people, are you messaging people? And show them. They can see posts, right? But even messages. Let's say you go and you just messaged 50 people, share that in your chat. Hey, I just sent out this message to 50 people. Who wants to do this with me? Or hey, I just sent this out to 100 people and signed 2 people from it. Show them what you are doing, because if it's working for you, it can work for them too, right? Don't just like, I don't know, don't just let yourself kill them or kill it and then just have them being like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, just feed it into them. This is what I'm doing. Hey, look, I just did this. Like, be so active in your chat with content that at any point, if they go in there, like, they can see, like, who is doing what that day, like, who's killing it, who's signing what. Like, just make it so excited, and that will build that momentum for your team. Like, obviously, you can't just choose to have momentum, but that momentum is going to come from the little tiny things every single day that add up. It's not just going to happen from one day where you kill it. It's going to happen from every single day where you're like, hey, I just did this. And another person is like, oh yeah, that worked for me. And then another person tries it. And then the next day, this person's like, hey, okay, I did that thing from yesterday and it's like kicking butt. So then you go do it again. And that is how it all trickles together, because you're bringing it in every single day and showing people every single day what to do, right? So be super, super active. Every single thing that you want your team to be doing, you have to be doing. Like, you have to, okay? The last thing that I have on here is about personal development. And that is honestly the biggest thing you can do for yourself. Like, even if you don't have a team yet, let's say you have 0 people on your team, but you want a team, right? You want to be so confident. Again, this goes back to everything we said before, but the books change everything. And I set a goal for myself this year, like minimum 2 books a month. And what I'm going to try to do is one like leadership type one, and then one like, I don't know what I would call it, but like a personal one. So like, for example, like you're a badass series. Wow, I like can't talk. I start like stuttering. You're a badass. Girl Code. If you have never read Girl Code and Girl on Fire, those books are freaking amazing. Like Girl on Fire honestly changed my business. I read that one, and it was like last month. Oh, it like blew my mind in the best way. I wonder if I have it, so I can show you guys. Yeah, it's literally the one. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of. It's at the front of my bookshelf at all times because it's literally like, this is it. Like, this was my book. So the author is Kara Alwell. You probably cannot read that. But yeah, so Girl on Fire. And then this is actually the second one. The first book was Girl Code. But I started with this one, if I'm going to be honest. It was Glenda that bought it for me. She's on the Zoom. So shout out to Glenda for like changing my business here for me. But it was so good that I ended up having to go get all her books. So now I have more of her books to read, which is really exciting. Developing the leader within you is so, so good. So then once you feel more confident in yourself then too, get developing the leaders around you. That one is super, super good as well. And I am just finishing up 10X rule. That one is so good. And one thing I do always mention, and I know there's different opinions on this, there's no right or wrong, I know, but you guys, the actual book, like if you're listening to things, that's awesome, but I would honestly have Audible or like however you're listening to it as like an extra. If you can get the physical book with highlighters and sticky notes, like I at all times, you guys, have highlighters right beside my book and sticky notes like right beside it at all times, because I swear by this so much. Like I always just like need to input my opinion on this, because there is such a difference of you listening to something and you hear something really good, but then it just keeps going, right? You forget about it so quick because, you listen to, like you hear something and you're like, okay, well that was good, but they continue talking. Like it literally doesn't stop for you because you had this like awe moment, right? Whereas when you're reading, you're like, oh, dang, that was good. And you stop so that you can highlight things. Literally everything in this book is like highlighted. You take that time to go, like you're rereading it because you're like, oh, dang, that was good. And so you're taking your time highlighting it, right? That literally soaks it in so much more. And then put a sticky note on the pages where it was like a big chunk of like, oh shit, like I need to get back to this page at some point. So that like at any point, like literally what I do, you guys, if there's ever a day where I'm just like, yeah, I want like a motto for today, like an affirmation for today. It sounds weird, but I do that all the time where like, I'm just like, I just need like a quote for the day. I will literally go through my book. I can just go like this and find where I saw highlighters and just be like, oh, stop. What was that one? Oh yeah. Okay. What was that one? And I literally stop, and it just like makes you like re-see all these like awe moments that you had all the time. Like it's just, it's to me, I know everybody's different, but I promise you this is what changed my business, is having like the physical books and like taking your time going through like all those moments. Like if you even have like a trigger moment for like a second where you're just like, oh dang, that was good. Like make yourself stop. Be like, okay, no, that was good. I like it triggered something. So highlight it. I'll type it, or Lexi, you're in there. Do you want to type in like the full? Yeah, you're on it. Thank you. You're the best. So yeah, books. And I know 2 to 3 books might be like a lot, but push yourself. And honestly, it's what changed everything for me. Everything. Yeah, so the very last thing I had on here was, you guys have to remember that what you tell yourself is what happens. Like literally that's as simple as it is. So if you are not doing your personal development and you're having a day where you're like this business is too expensive, nobody's going to join today, like I'm not going to sign people, they're going to tell me it's too expensive, like everybody always does. Guess what? If you follow up with somebody and you're talking about the business and you're like in this mindset of like they're just gonna tell me it's too expensive, they feel yay ever. Okay, I'll just like stop and clap for you. That's so awesome. Oh my gosh, 94 BV. That's exciting. Anyway, so you're telling yourself that like they're gonna say it's too expensive. Guess what? This follow-up that you just sent them, they literally will feel that. Because like it's just gonna show up in the way you word the pricing, and they're just gonna be like, oh, I don't have the money for that right now. Because you weren't even excited about it. Like you literally were in the mindset of they're not gonna have the money. So guess what? They're not gonna have the money. Same with like literally anything. If you sign a distributor and you're like, well, she's not gonna work anyway. It's like it's just gonna be like everything else. She's not gonna work her business. You don't think that shows up in the way you then talk to your new distributor and in the way you treat them? They're literally going to feel like you don't care if they work or not, because that is literally what you're telling yourself. They're not going to work. So it's going to show up in the way you respond to them. You're going to give them like short 1 or 2 word answers. You're not going to answer. You're going to miss their messages because you don't care. They're not going to do it anyway. So why like take your own energy out of it, right? Well, guess what? Now you really just screwed yourself over because you literally just made it so that they don't want to work with you because of that vibe that you put out. So you need to be in this space, as hard as it is, like you need to at all times be in this space of like, okay, this is what's going to happen. Like you need to be positive. I'm going to sign kick-ass hard workers. I'm going to work my business so hard today. I'm going to sign the best people. Set a goal for yourself. Literally the best thing you can do for yourself is have a goal for enrollments every single month. Like, I don't know, most of you guys probably see this, but like I at all times at the start of every month, we just did a training on distributors. So if you were on that, I apologize, but I'll just show you what I mean for a second. But for example, at the start of every single month, I make these story slides where I set a distributor goal for myself. Pulling it up, sorry. This one, so it'll say the month and then my distributor goal at the bottom. I haven't updated that. It's almost full. But so like, for example, this one, it just worked with the picture. So I set my goal as 12, okay? So, and every single time I sign a distributor, I then go into where I made the matching distributor shout out where I put like their picture in it. And every single time I sign somebody, I post this one and I tag them in it and tell them to share it. And then I post the second one saying that like the spot was filled, and I genuinely fill it in on the bottom of my thing, right? Because what that does is not only does it create urgency, like that goes back to signing distributors, but within me, it shows me like people see if I'm working my business, they know if I'm enrolling or not, and it's going to make you work harder, right? You have to set these goals and tell yourself, this is what I'm going to accomplish this month, and put it in front of yourself every single day. Because I can tell you by making myself do this, as uncomfortable as it is sometimes, if I'm not enrolling like I want to be, I see that all the time. I look at that and I'm like, oh my God, like this is like empty and I don't like that. Like I don't like that if I share this right now, people see like I've only signed 1 or 2 people. But guess what that makes me do? It makes me like do that story and then be like, okay, we got some work to do. And just like that, I will work harder to fill it. And now I think I'm at 9 of the 12 for this month. So I still have 3. I have to sign 3 more by tomorrow night. I have to. Like I refuse to not hit my goal, but it makes you finish them. It makes you work as hard as you can to hit your goals every single month. Yes, absolutely. I share it throughout the month too. So even if like somebody doesn't sign, I won't do like the shout out because nobody just joins, but they don't know that nobody just joined, right? So I can share this again and just be like, oh my gosh, only 3 spots left, or oh my gosh, only 10 spots left this month. Like these are filling really quick. Like they don't know if you're being honest about that or not. They don't know how much you've signed or how much you haven't signed, or, you know, like just be excited, share it all the time. Like, hey, this is filling super fast. I have 1 spot left. Are you ready to claim it? Like put that in your follow-ups too. Like I literally use that number on everything because I share that story so often. I put it in my follow-ups and I'll say, hey, I only have 3 of my 12 mentoring spots left for this month. Like, are you ready to go? like use that number on everything, so that if you follow up with them at that, like in that message, and then they go in your stories and they're like, oh dang, yeah, she did fill that, she does only have 3 spots left, they don't know that we can sign unlimited people. But if they were ever to say that, I would tell them it's because I pour everything I have into these new distributors. So those are like my special spots. So they get all my energy and like all my effort that I can pour into them. So if they then see that in their follow-up, and they then see your story the next day on these 3 spots, they're like, oh damn. Like, I literally have people that message me and say, hey, do you have a spot left? Like, how many spots do you have left for the month? Because I share that so frequently and I'm so consistent with that. Like, my followers, if they're not in the business and they don't know that we can sign more than that, they legit, like, that number is that number every month, and they ask me how much I have. And whether they sign up then and there is one thing. Sometimes they still like won't answer, it's not their time yet, whatever, but they're watching that number. And when it comes down to it, like, they will. Because actually, I think actually one thing is that when I signed up with Jackie, I saw her post and I messaged her. And so we were talking, she sent me like, I don't know, it was like one video. I didn't actually like watch it or anything. I was just like, okay, like I'll probably do this. And it was that same day. It was literally like right then and there. But at the same time, I saw her story. It was something about, she only had 1 spot left for the month. And that's where I was like, oh crap, like, no, don't give it away. And I like panicked. That was one of the reasons I like panicked. I was like, okay, no, like I'm doing this on the spot. Like, don't give that spot away. And that is why I have always done that, because I know for a fact that the people not in the business, they don't know any different, because I didn't know any different. So like, I'm going to tell them I only have those numbers of spots left. Yes, FOMO, it creates so much FOMO. Like, people want to join what they see other people joining. So even if you're newer, maybe you don't have a big team, but like you want to be sharing that, share other people's new distributors. Like, with them, maybe get their permission first. But like, if you have a friend in the business who just signed like 3 distributors, ask her if you can make a post without tagging the new distributors, but just being like so excited for these 3 women that just started their business, and share like a post about it. You don't have to tag them, it doesn't matter, but still like show that people want this. Share this story of, I only have this many spots left. Like, create that energy that makes people want to come into this. Yeah. So books, being confident, even if you're like not in that space yet, just like tell yourself every day, I'm a freaking badass. Like, I am going to go into this day and kick ass. And eventually, just like any other habit you create, you will start to believe it. If you tell yourself every single day, I am a freaking badass, I'm amazing at this business, I'm gonna go kick ass today, and you tell yourself that every single morning, it might take a while of like getting yourself into that, but I promise you, after like a while, you're gonna get up and you're not even gonna have to tell yourself that each day, because you're just gonna know. Like, it's so crazy. I can't even tell you like exactly what it is that switched it for me, you guys, but literally in the past 60 days, I have had the biggest change in my business ever. And like, it's just something so deep inside me. I can't even tell you what it was, but I literally wake up in the morning and I'm like freaking pumped to work my business. Like, even on days where I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna like take it easy. Like, I don't take like an actual Sabbath, but like on weekends when James is home, like I'm just like, hey, like I'll work. I always do the backbone, but like I'll like not as hard, right? But I don't even find myself doing that anymore, because I'm just like so on fire in like a good way that I'm just like, no, I love it. Like, no, I'm just gonna message more people. Like, hold up, like tonight, like supper was literally cold by the time I went upstairs, and James was like, okay, supper, Caitlin, like supper's ready. And I'm just like, hold up, I'm like on a roll. Like, I'm just like too excited about what we have, and I wake up and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna go freaking own this business today. I'm gonna go talk to so many people, whether they sign up or not. Like, I'm gonna be a freaking badass. And you get into this mindset of like, you believe it, because that's all you tell yourself, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what anybody tells me. Literally anybody could walk up to me right now and just be like, I feel like you're kind of like not working your business. You're kind of like sucking. Like, I feel like your team is slacking. And I would look at them and I'd be like, are you, I was going to say something mean. I was like, are you on drugs? But let's not say that. But like, look at them and be like, are you kidding me right now? Like, have you seen this? I don't think so. Like, I really, really don't think so. I mean, we're in Canada. Yeah, exactly. We are in Canada. It's legal. So they probably are. Yeah. So develop yourself, personal development every single day. Put it in front of you. Who you want to sign up? How many are you going to sign up? Your goals. What does it mean to you? And like, oh, it literally, I have like chills right now. And you guys, if you're someone who like, maybe you don't know how to start to get you into this month, you're like, hey, like I need to like, what do I do? Get out a piece of paper right now, literally get a piece of paper and write out everything you want your life to look like all the amazing things, like how much money are you going to be making? How many people are you going to be enrolling? Where are you going to be living? Like literally write out your dream life in detail with your business, okay? Like literally how many distributors are you going to sign and how hard are they going to be working? What are their personality traits going to be look like? Okay, you're going to get yourself in this like mindset of like feeling it, like, okay, what is this going to feel like? And get yourself excited in detail. But then once you're all excited, go back to that piece of paper. And now I want you to write out worst case scenario. Like what happens if you quit your business right now and you go back to where you were before? What is the worst that your life could look like? How little money are you going to have? What job do you have to go back to? How many jobs do you have to go back to? Do you have to go back to 5 freaking jobs and you never even get to sleep because you have to work nights on top of getting up in the morning? Like, do you see your family? Maybe somebody else has to raise your kid because you can't even afford to be at home. Like you literally like write it out and it'll probably make you cry because going from that super high to that super low, like it literally hits, like it's hard having to like switch it, right? But when you can then look at them and be like you literally just have to look at it and be like, okay, what do I pick? Like, which one do I want? Obviously, no shit. You want your dream life. You want the ones that you wrote out first. You want that excitement. So go freaking do it. Like, you have to work to get there, but it's either you're going to work to get there and it's going to take a while and you're going to be consistent, but you're going to get there. That's where you're going. Or you can give up because it didn't happen quick enough. You can go work 40 hours a day, or day, holy, there's not even 40 hours in a day. You can work 40 hours a week for somebody else for the rest of your life to like stay okay. But if you don't make $1 million overnight, like that's too quickly, right? And you're gonna go back to that life. Like, heck no, you guys get the book 10X Rule. I was gonna show it to you, but I think it's upstairs because I read upstairs today. But literally the 10X rule, I feel like that was such a big part of it for me too, because I was reading that one and I was like, it is so true. Like there's one sentence in there that got me. It was like, it takes the same effort to make $10,000 a month as it does to make $1 million a month. And it is so true because when you are at a point where you're doing so much effort to make $10,000 a month, it means you're in momentum, right? Like if you are making that much money already, it means you're killing it. You're doing something right, so you just have to keep going. You're at the energy, just keep going. It's the same amount of effort, you just can't stop, right? That's literally all it is. It takes the same amount of effort to get from 10,000 a month to $1 million. You just can't stop. The second you take your foot off the gas pedal and you're not putting in that energy, like no shit, it's gonna drop. But when you're already in that fire zone where you're making that much, just keep going. Just keep doing the same things. We all here know what to do. We know how to work our business. You know how to be consistent. You know how to post. You know how to message. You know how to follow up. You know everything on your KPI. You know what to do each day. It's literally just going to come from being excited and being confident about it. And when you can just consistently do that and just show your team, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is working. Just being so like upfront about what you're doing so that you're also showing them. Like you're not just doing it behind the scenes, but you're doing it and showing them, right? Like do both. That is then going to create that momentum within your team because they will start copying. Your team will do what you are doing. So if you're not posting, they won't be posting. If you're posting 5 times a day, they'll probably post once or twice a day. If you're messaging 20 people a day, they might message 1 or 2 people. Like you set the pace. If you want your team to be freaking mass enrollers that's taking over the world and they're like carrying their own and like mass enrolling their own team, guess what? You got to keep up with them. You got to be like giving them something to like run with their money. However that saying is, how do you say it? You got to give them a run for their money. That's what it is. You got to be competing right there. And I don't mean like competing in a bad way, but like a healthy competition is never a bad thing. I want to be the hardest worker on my team at all times. But when Sam Westwick like 10X's me and enrolls 100 customers, am I going to be sad about it? Hell no. I'm going to be there like, yes, Sam, like, what are you doing? Like, there have been so many times I've messaged Sam and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what message are you using? And she probably gets so annoyed with me. She's like, Caitlin, you should probably know this. And I'm like, hell, I just want whatever you're doing. Like, to heck with what I'm doing. What are you doing? And that's when your team is going to feel that, like, you care. You're excited for them. Like, oh, yes, absolutely. There's no reason you can't be inspired by your team. Like, rank doesn't matter. It does not matter where on a chart you are, whether you have 1 distributor or 5 or 1,000. Like, a leader is not a rank. It is not, it literally has nothing to do with where you are in your business. It has to do with who is showing up and who is enrolling and who is contributing to the chats and showing up to the Zooms. Like, if you have somebody on your team that is a distributor, like just a distributor, they don't have anybody, but they message you and they ask for your advice and they're coming to your power hours and they're showing up and they're telling you that they want this and they're sharing their goals with you or whatever it is. Like, they are, if you see that they are being active over somebody who is maybe like a double or a triple, but like they're like super quiet, not working, but you have this person that's like right here, no matter how small their team is, they're right there. That is who you put your energy into, because they want this. Pour into them just like they're wanting it. Meet them where they are. And if they're at 100%, they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't have a team yet. It's like, I don't feel like leader yet, but I want to know what to do. Absolutely. Let's freaking, like, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Let's work together. Let's get on a one-on-one. Like, let's work together. Let's go through what you're sending. Like, if they're giving you 100%, give them 100% back. And if that means you got to give them half an hour to an hour of like diving into every single thing that they're doing, do it. Like, and it will change everything. So yeah, stay close to the fire and run with them. And yeah, that's all I had. So if you guys have any more like questions or things you want me to just like cover quickly, let me know. But otherwise, yeah, you just have to remember that you cannot become a leader when you have a big team that needs a leader, because if you want a team, like, they're gonna need a leader today. They needed a leader yesterday. So let's work on that. Like, doesn't matter how many people you have. And yeah, you all have it in you. Every single one of you. You can all be capable of being the best leader in the world. So just go do it. So I love you guys, and I love your face, Jackie. You're a freaking babe. Okay. I love all of you. Okay. Okay. Have a good night. Mwah. I love all of you. Oh my gosh. So much love.